Okay, we'll start this meeting. Welcome everybody to the Regional Council meeting for September the 2nd. I'd like to acknowledge that our meeting is being held in the traditional territory of our friends, neighbors, and Treaty 8 partners of the Fort Nelson First Nation, as well as the Prophet River First Nation. We recognize the treaty and the rights inherent in that treaty. And we celebrate the contributions and enduring presence of the Métis people in our region. Please be advised that tonight's meeting is available to the public to attend virtually. It's being streamed and recorded. Are there any council additions? So I have a couple. So I'd like to add a request for a letter of support from Dr. Leverkus on some wildfire research that she's doing, and I think that's you'll get a copy of it. It's short, so you can read it. I'd like to move the discussion item on my agenda was 8.8, which is the letter from Terrin Dolen up to the discussion section, and then we'll add some correspondence that we got from Minister Ma, essentially an apology for not being at UBCM to 8.14, so we can receive that officially. I think you should have got a copy electronically of that, I think, already. So those are the additions that I would like to see. Staff, are there any additions from staff? Okay, thank you. Adoption of the agenda is in order, please. Moved by Councillor Soul, second by Councillor Gerwing. All in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Thank you. There are two sets of minutes there, the regular regional council meeting of August the 11th, 2025, and the public hearing minutes from August the 11th, 2025 for adoption. Moved by Councillor Roper for adoption?
Just the same error. I'm listed as attendant, as an attendance.
You move them first and then we'll.
Sure, we'll move them, yeah.
And Councillor Soul second. Errors and omissions, so the same, you were in attendance.
Not in attendance.
At those meetings, okay. Thank you. Are there any other errors or omissions? Seeing none, all in favor? Are there any opposed? Thank you, those are adopted. Business arising from those minutes? Is there any business? Staff? Council? No? Okay, that takes us directly to reports, bylaws, and policies. 7.1 Administrative Report 4525 Northern Development Trust Annual Grant Applications.
Good evening, Mayor and Councillors. So before you is just a brief report requesting a resolution to apply to Northern Development Initiative Trust for the grant writing support program, the economic development capacity building program, as well as the business facade improvement program. That's it.
And those are annual grants that we apply for to NDIT, and NDIT's had those programs in place for a long time. Would anybody like to read this out loud so that the people listening to this will understand what we're approving?
Sure.
Okay.
I make the motion that the Northern Rockies Regional Municipality submits an application to the Northern Development Initiative Trust Grant Writing Support Program for the maximum amount of $8,000 to offset the cost of providing grant writing and support services, and that the Northern Rockies Regional Municipality submits an application to the Northern Development Initiative Trust Economic Development Capacity Building Program for the maximum amount of $50,000 to partially fund a regional economic development officer position, and that the Northern Rockies Regional Municipality submits an application to the Northern Development Initiative Trust Business Facade Improvement Program for the maximum amount of $20,000 to fund the 2026 Fort Nelson Business Facade Improvement Program.
Thank you. Moved by Councillor Going. Do I have a seconder?
Second.
Councillor Roper. Is there any discussion? Seeing no discussion, all in favor? Are there any opposed? That's carried. Thank you. Takes us to 7.2, which is the Northern Rockies Official Community Plan Amendment, Highway Commercial to Urban Residential Bylaw number 236, 2025. Third reading, I believe.
Good evening again. So Following the council meeting on July 14th, where regional council provided first and second reading to both the bylaw amendments, the OCP bylaw amendment, as well as the zoning bylaw amendment. The report's being brought to you for consideration of third reading and adoption. As requested by regional council, a site plan was submitted by the property owner. As the zoning amendment also requests an increase of density from 17 units per hectare to 24. So the site plan has been included as attachment 1. It does demonstrate that smaller unit sizes would be required in order to achieve that density. But given that the manufactured home park is already in existence, the site plan will provide a very reasonable reference for staff in the future when development permit applications are received. So for that reason, we've recommended that third reading and adoption be given to both the OCP and zoning bylaw amendments.
Okay. Are there any questions? We've been dealing with this one for 6 weeks or something now, month, 2 months. You may be
8
longer.
years, I think.
For you, it's been longer.
It's
Yeah.
been 8 years off and on. AJ.
Okay, question of the corporate officer. Can we do these both in the same motion?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're looking for third reading and adoption for this bylaw, please.
My turn?
Yeah.
Oh,
Counselor Sauls?
the third reading and adoption be given to the Northern Rockies Regional Municipality Official Community Plan Amendment Bylaw, as in highway commercial to urban residential, number 236, 2025, and that the third reading and adoption be given to Northern Rockies Regional Municipal Zoning Amendment Bylaw Midnight Sun of 4603 50th Avenue South to C2, C3 to RMH. And number 237, 2025, associated with parcels of land located at 4603 50th Avenue South, Fort Nelson, legally described as Lot 1, District Lot 1595, PRD Plan 1859, Lot 2, District Lot 1595, PRD Plan 18589, and District Lot 1596, Peace River District.
Thank you. Third and reading and adoption of the OCP and zoning amendment bylaw moved by Counselor Sauls. Do I have a second? Counselor Growing. Is there any discussion on those? Seeing none, all in favor of third reading and adoption? Are there any opposed? Seeing none, third reading and adoption passes for both bylaws. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, that takes us to correspondence and information packages for discussion. 8.1 is a letter from Mr. Fulton, the Director of Special Projects Leeds, Northeast BC Wildlife Fund. There's a request there for reimbursement of firefighting equipment. Staff.
That was discussed during the Toad River meeting that we had a highway meeting in June. There was the municipality funded a portion of a request that Track had requested for firefighting equipment that we had Chief Childs work with members of Track to determine what was appropriate from a budgetary perspective. I think traditionally municipality supports Toad River as a community in the Up Highway residents regarding I'll say a reasonable amount of fire suppression equipment from a wildfire perspective, and we'll continue, I think, to add to that cash as we move forward. This particular situation was something that they worked out at the time, which was unknown to us until it was brought up at Toad and at the meeting. And Mayor, I believe you had just advised for them to present it or request it at a future meeting, so it can be discussed at the table here.
Right. So, yeah, so essentially last year's budget, this year's budget, last year's discussion was that we provide some wildfire firefighting equipment to them. They had a lengthy list, and as is discussed, the fire chief had a look at it and said it was really too much in that budget, but that it was not an inappropriate amount of equipment. It just was too much for 1 year's budget. So When the fire happened at Petsa, sometime there, they went ahead and got money from the Northeast BC Wildlife Foundation and went ahead and purchased the last or another $20,000. I want to say the last because I don't know what they might continue to ask for. So they went ahead and purchased $20,000 and worth of firefighting equipment. I'm not sure that they ended up using it. I think because by the time it got here, I think the BC Wildfire Service had actually gone and done the fire, they put structural protection up while this was all yeah, that's what they do. So so at the meeting, Tom let me know that this was what's going on, and I said to him, well, this year's budget's used, but you can always put in a request, for reimbursement of that money, and that's what this is. My suggestion is that we defer it to next year's budget and just put it on as if it was what we might consider for the 2026 budget. So that's my thoughts. Anybody else have any thoughts?
I think that's not a bad idea, given the stage at which we are at in our season. And with the smoke conditions the last couple of days, I take this with a grain of salt. The worst of the fire season is behind us as far as season goes. Yeah, and the winter is ahead and the budget happens before winter's over. So I think that's a prudent way of managing this request.
Yeah.
I just have a point of clarification. So when you say defer this till next budget, are you meaning that we would give this organization the $20,000 to off so that they're not out of pocket and take it out of next year's budget allotment, or paying out nothing now?
Paying out nothing now and deferring the discussion to the 2026 budget season for anything that the Code River Community Association would put in as an ask, right? So in other words, it essentially would use up any firefighting budget that they might ask for. And if we respond to them and let them know that, then that would be part of their ask. To me, that would be part of their ask for the 2026 budget. And I'm sure they would have asked for firefighting equipment. And I think we should say that this is that. My thoughts anyway.
I really appreciate the proactive approach of protecting your community and maybe jumping the gun a little bit, but in good faith, I think. And it's a good thing that they have this equipment now. I think that's going to help better protect them. Is there a possibility that we could possibly take this out of the wildfire resiliency budget, the $500,000 that we didn't quite know exactly how much was earmarked for? I'm concerned that the next budget proceedings are so far away. I feel like we just approved this year's budget. And if there's an appetite for that, I think there's some money there that we could just put this to bed, give them some closure. And I think part of the reason we have that fund is for things like this. And
just take it into consideration next budget.
Yeah, or replenish it next year, or I feel they did the right thing here, even though if they didn't need it or use it, it was a proactive approach. And yeah, that's my thoughts.
I'm good with that. Do you want to make that a resolution?
Sure, I would make that resolution that sure.
So I'm just concerned that.
Yeah, we don't, yeah. So I would make the resolution that we approve their request for reimbursement out of the Wildfire Resiliency Fund without precedence.
Do I have a seconder? Councillor Doig. Further discussion. So question to staff, that's all copacetic. That's we're capable of doing that. Okay, good. Are there any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Thank you. Okay, that takes us then to the invitation from Doig River First Nation for a conference they're putting on walking the path of justice. from November 19th to 21st. I put it here. I guess as holding the portfolio for reconciliation, I would like to attend this, and I'm just looking for your permission to attend it. From my perspective, I think it would be good to understand how the First Nations communities are looking at crime prevention, and dealing with offenders, I guess, that are coming back to their communities, and just really trying to get a feel for what their ideas are around that. Okay. So a motion to attend would be.
I would make a motion to approve your attendance.
Thank you. Moved by Councillor Roper, second by Councillor Gerwing. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Thank you very much. 8.3 is a letter from Adriane, the president of BC Nurses Union, re the brand new BC Nurses Union Healthcare Champion Award, that we submit a nomination. So I will defer to staff to speak to this. Jaylene, would you like to?
So the request came in last week, and collectively, we agreed that through the READY program and council's ongoing advocacy around health services in the community, that it would make sense that NRRM submit a nomination for this to be considered for this award. So nomination's been prepared. We provided that to council for some feedback. Mayor, you had some additional feedback today, so we'll get that integrated. But it's something that we'd like council's support or endorsement to submit.
Good. I think it's a good idea. I think, we've done an awful lot of work over the years. I'm sure there are other communities have too, but I think it's best to, put our foot forward, and if we're selected, it's some recognition for the hard work that staff and council have done, supporting the nurses union. So the bit I added today, because I didn't put it in writing for everybody, was the bit about we advocated for the security at the hospital for the nurses, right? And we also, this community, along with others, advocated for the review of Northern Health, and within that review was a couple of different sections on support for nurses in that. It didn't go anywhere, but between all the communities of the Resource Coalition, we certainly put our best foot forward and worked closely with the nurses union when we did that. So I think that's important that we include those as well. Go ahead.
So in addition to what I sent to be added, which was around our provincial involvement in kind of advocating for what our healthcare professionals face working in this community along with residents. The point that I forgot to mention was the recruitment video that we're working on. So I don't know if somebody else had picked that up, but that's also another piece that we have been working on after being stymied by our health authority. So just doing it ourselves, I think that really highlights what we're all about.
Thank you. What are your wishes?
I would make a motion to submit the nomination to the inaugural BCNU Healthcare Champion Award on behalf of the Northern Rockies Regional Municipality for their continued advocacy for health professional recruitment and retention, and the development, implementation, and success to date of the recruitment, retention, education, and training incentive program, along with the other feedback submitted by council.
Thank you. Moved by Councillor Grewing. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Roper. Further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Are there any opposed? Seeing none, that passes. Thank you. 8.4 is a letter from Dr. Leverkus, Shifting Mosaics Corporation. Did you all get a copy of it? I'll give you a minute to read it if you haven't read it yet. Did you get it, John? It might not have been in that package. I think. Oh. So it should be page 45 of 69. No, that's the ombudsman one. No, you don't have it. Here. Want to read mine? You can read mine. It'll just take him a second to read it, so just give you that opportunity. That's okay. So, so Dr. Leverkus has started some research on overwintering fires, up the 317 road. I think she's looking for support from, the Ministry of Forests through the, firefighting, firefighting service, and is looking for a letter of support from us to support her research, advocacy. So, she requested this from the committee. Of course, so a letter of support would have to come from council. And our next meeting is not till October the 11th. So I asked that, based on the time that we put it on today's agenda, she was willing to talk to the committee. But Cam, who's co-chair, and myself both think that it's a good idea to give her that support. I think there'd be some good information coming from there. I mean, it's starting to become apparent that all this blowdown out there, if it can't be salvaged, needs to either find a home of some type or it needs to be burned. And if it's going to be burned, I think some of the work that she will do will help to understand how to best burn it in the future. So I think it's to our benefit. Any other comments? Councillor Soul?
Yeah, just to speak to the overwintering fires and the need for research, our community forest was impacted directly 2 years in a row by holdover fires that because of their nature consumed a lot of what would have been salvageable wood, but is no longer accessible to us, including a number of logging blocks that were already laid out and, timber cruised and laid out and so on, ready for harvest, but they were lost to both in 2024 and in 2025 that took place.
The other thing is on Friday had an impromptu meeting with Bob Warner of the Wildfire Service and Tony, I'm drawing a blank on Tony's last name. He used to be, anyways, he is the manager of the Prince George Fire Center. And they were here in town, dropped in, had a discussion. They also believe that this is going to be good work. So I took the opportunity to quiz him on that. All right, I'll need a motion to write a letter of support. Moved by Councillor Souls, second by Councillor Roper. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? That carries. Thank you. And I think the last one for discussion that I have was the letter from Terrin Dolen, Logotech, relocal contractors concerns with public works quotes and procurement. I think staff have a bit of a verbal report for us with respect to the situation and what we might do about it.
Okay, yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mayor. So specific to the situation, I'll add that council is already aware of this, I'm sure, is that there's been significant work done in the past to give opportunities to provide local content and local work for local contractors in the municipality. Lots of policy changes, adjustments, and some working with legislation to allow that to happen. In this particular case, for a couple of instances, there are times when we have situations where operationally we need to act on a certain project or do something. So there was a couple of instances here, this example where the work was close to the 44th Street work. So one particular one was a catch basin repair that wasn't part of the original scope of work, but from a time perspective, there was a need to get the work done, and that's the reason why the quotes were done in such a way to get a quick turnaround, especially when we know the quotes that we were getting for the work, we knew we were getting qualified individuals to be able to do that work. And then we're already working in that particular area. That said, I have chatted with Director Bostock just around some processes to ensure that we continue with processes that we started a number of years ago, which even though the purchasing policy allows us to get 3 quotes at a certain value, that's a minimum requirement. That doesn't mean that we don't broaden that scope if need be, or broaden the opportunity if we think there might be more than that, to ensure that there's, like, for lack of better words, equal opportunity within the community for local contractors. There's other things we have to consider. I mean, qualifications to be able to provide to perform the work. When you start doing underground work, repairs on things like sewer lines and whatnot, there's some liabilities and whatnot, and qualifications that are required to ensure they're working appropriately around water lines and distance and all this other thing. That's things that we work with the local contractor also. So we're, so Josh is going to go back now and ensure that when those particular quotes come out, that we're doing what we can on our end to ensure that the local contractor can be have the opportunity. And in some cases, particularly with Mr. Dolen, it's also ensuring and providing opportunity to ensure that the experience is there, and to give them an opportunity for future work, because we don't have a history specific to that type of, I'll call it underground sewer work, because Terrin has done work for us in the past and actually submitted some stuff for the Andy Bailey project, for example. So we're just tweaking some of the work internally, some of the stuff that we put in place previously, and going to work with the contractor to work with them to look for those opportunities in the future.
Okay, thank you. Are there any comments?
I'm just wondering, is somebody going to respond back to Mr. Dolen about this?
Yeah, I think we should probably respond back just basically that we've reviewed the policy. We recognize, particularly I think around the building capacity, right? Building capacity in the contractors, and so there's opportunity perhaps to give some of these contractors that might have not all the experience an opportunity, and then we work with them, right, to get them the experience, and then we're building capacity. So that point in his letter I thought was a very good point.
No, for sure, because a number of the contractors that currently can do the work locally, the local contractors, didn't have the experience when the oil and gas industry dried up, quite honestly. Right. So we've already done that.
Yeah. Okay.
In the past, so it's not something new for us. So it's sometimes just reinforcing that it's important that we continue that process moving forward. So.
Okay, so can I have a motion then that we receive this, or we have already received it, that we respond to that staff respond to Mr. Dolen with respect to his letter. Moved by Councillor Gurwing, second by Councillor Roper. All in favor? Opposed? It's carried. Thank you. Okay, there are 10 pieces left of correspondence for information.
I recommend we take them for information.
Okay, moved by Councillor Souls, we adopt for information. Second by Councillor Roper. All in favor? Opposed? It's carried. Thank you. Okay, there are no new business items. Standing items for discussion. Council reports. Any? Okay, I don't have a mayor's report either. It was pretty slow around here. I was able to work on my deck a little bit. So, okay. Are there any notice of motions for the next meeting? Seeing none, are there any questions from the public? Seeing none, we don't need to move to a closed meeting. We already have that running. Yeah, we'll go back into the closed. Yeah, yeah.
Sorry, man.
That's okay. Okay, adjournment is in order. Moved by Councillor Gurwing, second by Councillor Roper. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Thank you very much. Yeah. If you're at an auction around me, you're buying. Okay. Thank you very much, everybody.